Hello Mahanason and welcome back to another episode of Bill's Briefs. Today is a very exciting episode because we have a new series launching called PD with JD, Mr. James Delbone. But before we get into that, I want to talk about an event that Google for Education is hosting on February 17th. Yes, I know that's during our holiday break. It's going to be from 3 to 4:30, but it's really exciting because the head of Google himself, Sundar, is going to be presenting along with many other key players in the Google for Education behind the scenes Googlers. They're going to be talking about over 50 new updates coming in the next couple months with Google Classroom and all the different Google for Education apps like Google Meet, Google Docs, and so much more. I was able to get a sneak peek of some of the features that are coming, and I was so excited that I decided to host a watch party. It's going to be launching 20 minutes before, and I'll be there for 20 minutes after if you want to talk about what the event is, if you have any questions. But I am a super nerd and I'm really excited for these announcements. So if you're interested in joining in this watch party, there is a link to a form down in the description box below. Fill it out and we will get you the link to the watch party. We'll be using Google Meet, of course. But without further ado, we have PD with JD. Take it away, Mr. Delbone.
Hey everybody, got a little video tutorial for you today. We've been talking a lot about phishing lately and how it's become even more and more prominent. They're out there trying to get us to click on links and forward emails that have all of this nefarious actions in there, whether it be icons or files or things like that, or things that you don't even know that are running. So I'm going to go over, because a couple people had some questions about, hey, how am I supposed to be reporting these phishing emails? And we sent out an email a couple times on the new Phish Notify extension that's in Google Chrome. So you should be using that, because the old way to report with the three dots and I'll show you in Google Gmail is sometimes that report says that you actually clicked on or opened the email when in fact you didn't. First things first though, the extension for some people hasn't been showing up and they say, hey, I don't see the extension, why is that? Now if you log into a Chromebook, it shouldn't be an issue, but if you're just on a browser, and I'm on a Mac here, so I'm just on a browser, and if I look up here, I don't see any of my extensions, and that there's a specific reason for that. It's because I may be logged into the browser, but I don't have sync on, right? Google Sync is not on. So if I'm not synced, I'm not going to get all these policies. So if you just click on the icon next to, it'll be your initial. I'm logged in as the Draper Teacher Test account that we have. If I just turn on Sync here, then you'll notice it's going to ask me to create a new profile or link data. In this case, most of the time, you're just going to want to link the data, and it'll just merge the two profiles. If you happen to have a local profile, it'll merge the two profiles. So that's probably the smartest action for most everybody. So once I synchronize, now if you look up here in the right hand corner, I have my extensions, and this one on this profile is automatically pinned. But if it isn't, if it doesn't show up there all the time, you can pin certain extensions and remove certain extensions. So I have Screencastify, a few other ones up here, some IT tools that we use, but the Phish Notify is right there. If it's not there and you want to have it pinned there, just click on the little puzzle piece for extensions, and then you can use this pin and unpin option there. So I'm going to leave it pinned for right now. And I'm in this Gmail, so I want to show you what it looks like. The first time you go to use it as a user, you may get some prompts, like I said in those emails. You have to actually authorize it to integrate and talk to your Gmail. Otherwise, once you do authorize it the first time, you won't have to go through some of these steps all the time. So I noticed a couple of these emails look a little bit weird in here. So I'm not quite sure if they're spam or if they're, but I'm going to report them as such, there's two options. You can report it as spam or you can report it as phishing. The difference between spam and phishing is somewhat subtle. Spam is typically advertisements and things you're not really asking for. I get a lot of spam from IT vendors looking to sell their wares, whether it be Chromebooks are available now again, or things along those lines, or trying to sell software that is geared towards education. I get tons of that every day. Not necessarily a phishing email, because phishing emails are typically asking you to do something right away. They're giving you some sort of urgency, like, hey, click on this, or there's a bill that you didn't pay, or something along those lines, or asking you to forward information, telling you your password is expired, or something along those lines. So spam phishing, subtly different, but if there's ever a question, don't be afraid to ask. So this one here looks pretty crazy to me. It's a bill pay, and I've looked at it already, and it just says Bank of America, but if you notice up here, I'm going to raise some of the red flags here. The first red flag is it doesn't really it comes from bankalerts.info. That'd be the first red flag. It's telling you, we're sorry, we need you to verify your access to your account. It's asking you to do something. Click here to validate your account. And guess what? When you click on this, I'm not going to do it because this is actually a simulated phish. We're going to check though. If it was a real phishing email, they would ask you to enter some credentials or something along those lines. And that's where they got you right there. So I'm just going to use the phish notify. We used to ask you to use the 3 dots here. This you can still use for reporting spam and whatnot. But for right now, we're going to have you use the phish notify. So again, this email looks a little bit weird. I'm not quite sure if it's a phishing email, if it's a simulated one, if it's a real one, but I'm going to report it. So I go up here to Phish Notify, click on the little Phish extension up here, and this is where it's asking you the first time. This should only be the first time that it'll ask you this. It wants you to authorize use of this extension with Gmail. So I go ahead and click Authorize, and I'm using this Draper Teacher account, so it's going to guide you through. This should look very familiar to when you're using certain applications and extensions. And I just want to allow the extension to Phish Notify access to my Gmail. Now it's done. It took care of everything it needed to do. It didn't give you any prompt. It just, that message went away. So now when I click on the Phish Notify up here, I click on Report Email. And look at this. Congratulations, you've identified a simulated phishing email, so forth and so on. Okay, so that's a phish email that's a simulated one. That is one that we send out periodically to all users, including myself, and we send those out. Let's say there's one, and I'm not quite sure if it looks a little bit, you don't have to do anything with this email either, by the way. It's been taken care of, you can just delete it. So we're gonna go ahead and delete it. And let's say there's one in here that looks kind of fishy, but I'm not quite sure. Let's see. Request. This one definitely looks fishy. It's talking about resetting a password, but somehow this came through. So I click on Phish Notify again, report email. This time, what it's saying, it says it may be, it's not, but it may still be a phish email. But we're going to report it. We'll take care of it. You don't need to do anything else. So it automatically opens up a ticket for us. We get it up there in the IT department, and we're able to look at it, and then we'll get back to you of whether it's something you need to worry about. But the key to reporting these when they look like this is that you may not be the only one that got it. There may be other users that got it. It may be something that's systemic that's come out, and we need to we can go in there and proactively start removing some of those so somebody else doesn't fall victim to one of these phishers. They're out there to get you, and this is why we're doing this kind of thing. So any questions you have, don't be afraid to ask, 8336 or help@mahonison.org. Have a great day.
Before we go, it's time to announce last week's trivia winners. And without further ado, take it away, DJ Dave.
Hey everybody, how you doing today? I'm DJ Dave, and I just want to let you know, congratulations to Senorita Salo for winning last week's trivia. You can pick up your prize at DJ Dave's office at the Cap Building. Be there or be square, because I'll take it. I'd also like to give a shout out to Jack Guineri, who was just hired as a police officer with Albany City Police Department. He's a good guy, and don't forget, Jack, I trained you, and I taught you everything you know. And Jack, good luck, have fun, we'll miss you a ton. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to work hard and play hard. I'll see you next time. Thanks.